Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be interviewing a Facebook friend of mine. She friended me at the end of last year because we were mutually friends with our guest and friend Susan Lanier. Her name is Cindy Jenkins, and I believe she works in the jewelry industry, and she lives up in Santa Rosa. And I'm having her on the podcast today just to have a chat and talk about, you know, um, uh, her business and talk about random stuff and nothing really in particular. It's going to be a non-linear narrative today, just random stuff. And she seems really cool, and they're going to find out all about her, and that's going to be pretty exciting, I think. So, yeah, here is my interview with Cindy Jenkins. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Tommy.
Hi, Cindy. Wow,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can. And wow, your voice is actually pretty sexy.
Oh, very, very nice. Thank you.
Absolutely, you're welcome. Uh, so yeah, I'm just laying here wiggling my toes.
Just wiggling your toes? No shoes? I'm up and ready for the day. I'm
No,
an early riser.
yeah, no shoes. So you friended me on Facebook about a year ago because you had seen me comment on something on Suze Lanier's Facebook page.
Right, right. What was that?
I can't remember verbatim, but I remember it was about, yeah, I mentioned about like my car accident and a couple other things.
Right, right. And well, I've been following you for about a year, and I really enjoy your posts. And I think your show is really interesting, and you have very interesting guests.
Oh, thank you. Do you listen to every episode?
No, there's a lot of episodes. There's over 300 of them.
Well, I don't mean like everyone, but everyone that I post. Like,
I listen to the ones that you post. I listen to Butch Patrick.
mm-hmm.
Just recently, I really like. Oh, why can't I think of her name? Elliot's mom and E.T.
Oh, Dee Wallace.
Dee Wallace. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, she's cute. I really like her.
Oh yes, love her. Yeah, she's great. So let's see. I know you live in Santa Rosa. Are you originally from there?
No, I'm born in Oregon, and my father moved around a lot, so we moved all over the West Coast. San Rafael, California has always been, or Marin County has always been kind of a home base for us. That's where my grandparents lived. So I ended up here because during these times where we moved a lot, oftentimes we'd end up back at grandma's house. So it was
Mm-hmm.
always home base. I kind of grew up under Frank Lloyd Wright building, the San Rafael Marin County Civic Center, and grew up there. That was kind of my home base.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I was in last time I was in Santa Rosa was back in February. I went to a horror film festival there.
Oh, what was it? You should have called me.
I know I should have. I didn't think of it, and plus my schedule was really erratic. That couple of days I was in town. Um, it was the famous Monsters Silver Scream Fest, and
Right, right. We have a guy here locally. I can't think of his name. He's key in that.
yeah, and for some strange reason, um, I haven't seen like any information about it on their website or their Facebook page. I hope they do it again in 2019. I'd love to go back.
Yeah, it's been going on for a couple of years now. Because I went to the first one, I believe, with my kids.
Hmm. Yeah, I was a late bloomer in finding out about it, following my accident and everything. But when I found out, and found out a couple of my friends were going to be there, um, I definitely jumped the chance to go. And actually, Dee Wallace was scheduled to be there this year, but she had to cancel at last minute.
Oh no.
Yeah, but she does like over a dozen conventions a year, so she's like everywhere. Though there's always chances to meet her. She loves to work. She loves to do conventions. She says there's no slowing me down, and she just turned 70 like the other day.
Yeah, she's pretty fantastic. I really like her.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, her and I get along great.
That's nice.
Hmm. But yeah, I definitely hope they do it again next year. Maybe they're gonna have it like later or middle of the year instead of early, like they did this year because it was in February.
Okay. Yeah, well, we need something in February. February is a hard month. It's the dead of winter, and it's when we usually get the most of our rain. So if there's going to be flooding, it's usually late January, early February.
Hmm. Yeah. So
So a good horror fest, that would be great.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. Um, so you work in jewelry?
I create jewelry. I'm a crafter, an artist for my entire life. The jewelry is something I started a few years ago. In one respect, I was making beaded jewelry, and recently I started working again in a clay that I was working in 20 some years ago. It's polymer clay, and you create layers and cuts, and you form it, and you create these images with the clay, and it's kind of neat. So I was calling it Cindy Jenkins graphic jewelry. And I was at the farmers market here in Santa Rosa with my jewelry. It was a pretty nice experience.
Oh, nice, nice. I
What I really do is I do a lot of computer support for friends and clients, and also website development. So that's my real line. But it's freelance. I'm not married to it.
yeah. You sell jewelry online?
No, I did an online store, an eBay store many years ago,
Hmm.
where I sold books. Books was it was a fun thing to sell. To go out and find them, and then finding special books
Hmm.
and selling them, reselling them, and then your mailing wasn't so expensive because you have the media class. So that was okay, but the shipping and handling is really a hassle. So I don't like the online sales gig. It's not my deal. I like having a table at an event where I have my things out in front of me, and I get to talk to people person to person.
Hmm.
That's really kind of where I live.
Oh, nice. Yeah, back in 2009, I reconnected with this girl that I knew when I was in middle school, and her mother um, makes jewelry and sells it. She was having like these, she has like these open house jewelry shows. I remember um, in San Mateo, where I'm from, and I remember her mom like flirted with me. She liked this holy cross necklace that I wear and stuff. And she was just like holding it in her hand, and just trying to find an excuse to like tickle my chest and everything because she thought I was cute. And
How old was she?
she
How
had
old
to.
were you?
I was 26 and she was like 50
Oh,
maybe.
okay, so you were 26?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, that's okay.
Yeah, no, I reconnected with this girl in 2009, and
Mm-hmm.
needless to say, I slept with both of them.
Oh,
And
no.
yeah,
Needless to say, I don't think that was needless.
well, no, I mean, I'm just saying, no, I mean to like bring it up. is what I mean is needless. Um, but and then about a month after that, um, I found out that the girl she reconnected with some guy that she dated in high school, and they they had they had like gotten together one time and they were already engaged. And next thing I know, they're both like unfriending me on Facebook. It was really bizarre and strange.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I did have a falling out with a mutual friend of theirs. That might have influenced some of that, but it was really bizarre and stuff. If I could like go back to any year, it would definitely be 2009. I made so many bad decisions in 2009. That was like the one year where so much stuff could have been avoided, but I was so cocky that year. I'll tell you.
Well, it's good that you can look back and then make an assessment and do a self-assessment and say, wow, I can see where I was going wrong,
Hmm.
and now I can be proactive and correct that behavior.
Yeah, I was yeah. I mean, I was working as a bouncer at this bar in San Mateo, the Swinging Door, and
Hmm.
I was there 2.5 years, and I was just getting laid so much I could write a book about it. And when I was in middle school and high school, I had no game with girls. They only liked me as a friend, and like as soon as like I became a bouncer, then it became easy for me to get girls. And my ego was such that I just kept doing it. I just kept doing it. I was addicted to it, and I made a lot of bad decisions with certain people I associated myself with, and a lot of stupid things I
Yeah.
did, you know. And
You can't be too free with yourself. You have to be really choosy.
yeah, now I mean, I would love to get laid because I haven't been laid since my accident, but I'm just focused on my career and what I want to do for the future,
Hmm.
and that's my focus now, especially since I'm approaching mid-age already, and I can't believe I'm saying that.
You're not approaching mid-age.
I got
Middle age these days is okay. You want to talk 50, 60 years old because you're gonna live to be 100, dude.
it used to be 40, and I got 5 years until I'm 40.
Okay, so you're good. You're still useful. I just turned 55 and I feel my youth. My youth is surging.
Are you
It's good.
are you saying
And I don't feel like I'm calling myself middle aged yet.
Are you saying 40-year-olds are not useful?
No, that's not what I said at all. I said that I said I'm 55
Hmm.
and the youth is surging through my veins. I can feel it. So if you're 40, you're younger than me,
Hmm.
you'd be feeling more youthful, hopefully.
Okay. You said youthful. I thought you said useful. Okay, I got
Youthful.
confused.
True youth.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that was a crazy year, and I'm glad I got through it. Just time flies.
It does. And something I've learned is to create goals for myself and kind of have a 5 year plan every few years, reevaluate and say, where do I want to be in 5 years? Because that 5 years is going to pass anyway. So taking the steps toward my goals every 5 years, it's a way of compartmentalizing my time and making it easier to handle instead of saying, oh, the rest of my life, this or that. I can say, here's what I'm going to work on for the next 5 years.
Yeah. I had my last 5-year plan was in 2015. During my first month of being out of the hospital, I was like, I want to be a successful comedian, actor, screenwriter, personality, all that stuff. And it's 3 years in, and I'll tell you, I've progressed a lot, with all these, podcasts that I'm doing in my bedroom and stuff. And I've made contacts with people.
Well, I've looked at the content of your work, and it's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
You've got that to show, and it's significant and it's impressive. I really am impressed with what you've done with Splat from the past. And recently I had seen that you were thinking of hanging that up, and I certainly hope that's not true, because it's a really wonderful application.
There was a point in the middle of the year. This has been a very dark year for me because some stuff happened in the family that I haven't talked about publicly, and I don't want to, because it was a lot of it was paranoia and a lot of it was stuff that could have happened, but thank God it didn't happen. And I got to, and there was a point. I don't know if it was me. I don't know if it was them. It was mostly them. But I was trying to get certain people to be on the podcast, and they were just rude and bitter, and just don't want to like talk about things that they did 30 years ago that people love and stuff. And I was considering like stopping this, but now I see like the progression of all the people I've gotten since it happened, and it's like, no, there's no way I can stop this right now,
Yeah, it's really worthy. It's definitely worthy, I think.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is. So what are your favorite movies?
My favorite movies. I like a lot of movies. I was a real horror buff in my younger years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like Coen Brothers movies. I like Blood Simple. I liked Naked Man. Did you see Naked Man with Michael?
Roger Moore?
What is it?
No, that's The Naked Face. I'm thinking of Naked Man. No, I haven't seen that.
Hang on, he's a chiropractor,
Mm-hmm.
and it's let me just look it up here real quick.
Okay.
Naked Man. Michael Moriarty is who I want to say.
Love him.
But I can't help but think that that's Naked Man.
I love Moriarty. He's great.
Michael Rappaport.
Oh, okay.
It's from Ethan Coen.
Oh, it's a Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah, well, actually not a Coen Brothers. It's just Ethan. And there's, what is another one? Bubba Hotep?
Oh, yeah.
Bruce Campbell. I love Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, I met him.
I love him. I adore him. I would love to meet him.
Oh, God, he's hilarious. I was at this Comic-Con in Sacramento going to meet Robert Englund, and Robert likes to like talk to every guest 10 minutes. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter how long the line is. He likes to talk to them for like 10 minutes. And at one point, we're just standing there. We're all fucking tired, especially me. Oh my God, I was really, really tired. I had metal in my leg, from the accident, and I'm just really, really tired standing there. And next thing you know, Bruce Campbell appears out of nowhere and says, "Robert, could you sign the fucking thing and get on with it? Nobody cares about your trip to Europe." And it was so funny. Oh, yeah, he was great. And he signed my Evil Dead poster.
Yeah, Evil Dead, all the Evil Dead movies. I'm such a fan. My favorite one was, what's the one you tell me? It's Evil Dead, not the first one or second one. It's the one where he goes back in time.
Oh, Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've watched that one numerous times. I love it.
Yeah. That was the first. I think that was the first one I saw before I saw the first two. Yeah, I love in horror. I love Friday the 13th, Dawn of the Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. I love Reanimator. I just bought the.
I love the Reanimator. Oh, another one I love is Jeffrey Combs. Love Jeffrey Combs. He's great.
Jeffrey Combs,
Always
yeah.
great in everything. Yeah.
I met him. He's a great guy. He's a little eccentric, but he's a nice guy.
That's why I loved him.
Yeah. And Barbara
The
Crampton.
Surgeon. Did you see The
No.
Oh no, that's a good one. That's a real good one. Um, what other ones with him do I love? Oh, not the Bride of the Reanimator, but the Reanimator where he's in jail. They had put him in jail.
The third one. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
That was pretty good. That was real good. I liked that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Barbara Crampton, she's a friend of mine. She was at Silver Scream Fest this year, and we got to hang out and talk and stuff. And
Nice.
she knows I've seen like every movie known to man, so she's always got to say stuff like, Tommy, how many times have you seen so and so? And I'm like, I don't keep count of how many times I see a movie. I never have. I just know I've seen it at least 100 times. You know.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my God, that famous scene with the headless corpse
In which movie?
in Reanimator. You know, the headless corpse is trying to perform cunnilingus on her.
I don't remember that.
Oh, that's like the most infamous scene. That's the scene she gets asked about more than anything. Yeah.
Oh my god. No, I don't remember that one.
Yeah. Oh, it's a classic. It's a
I'm
classic.
gonna have to block it out.
I love all the Charlie Band Empire movies from the 80s as well. I love Trancers, which is sci-fi. I love
Mhm.
Ghoulies. I love Crawl Space, Terror Vision. That one he did that no one talks about, The Alchemist. I love that movie. I still have it on the VHS taped off of HBO.
What about People Under the Stairs?
Oh yeah, Wes Craven. That's a good one.
Wes Craven, that was a good one. I really enjoyed that movie. That was well crafted. The guy in the gimp outfit running through the house yelling, screaming, "Burn in hell! Burn in hell!" It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Shopping Mall. Love that one. The stuff.
Mm-mm.
That's the yogurt that eats people after you eat it.
No.
Yeah, that's a classic. I actually have a stuffed cup from the movie signed by Larry Cohen that I met him at a convention. And I bought one from him and he signed it.
Nice.
Yeah, he kept all 2,000 of those cups in his closet for 30 years and started selling them at conventions for the 30th anniversary. And I got like one of the last batch of them. One of the last ones from the last batch I got. I'm so proud of that. It's signed by him, and then I got signed by Paul Servino later, and this one girl that was in the movie. I got signed by her too, and I got a poster too, signed by him of the movie. I'm a big Stuff fan, and all these millennials I meet at festivals, they see me wearing a Stuff T-shirt, or they see me carrying that cup. They're like, "What's the Stuff?" I'm like, "If you're at a horror convention and you have to ask that question, you shouldn't be here." You know?
What about, okay, let's go back a few years to the Toxic Avenger series.
Oh hell yes! I wrote a script. I wrote a horror script, right? It's a homage to supernatural horror films from the 80s, and there's a couple killings in it that are very Toxic Avenger esque.
Yeah, okay.
I won't reveal what they are, but I love the killings that he does in the first one, especially at that restaurant, that fast food restaurant. You know, he put.
Yeah, with the deep fryer. I
Yeah,
remember.
I love that. And, you know, the milkshake machine.
I know it's all the milkshake machine. It's been many moons since I've seen these films.
Yeah, he like.
Actually, honestly, Tommy, I haven't watched a movie in maybe 5 years.
Well, new movies nowadays suck, so don't feel bad.
Well, and so those movies that I have watched, you're stuffed a little far back in my memory. Um, I really like the ones we've mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen the Return of the Living Dead?
The Return of the Living Dead. Which one?
the punk rockers one. They're like, in that they're in that cemetery, and Linnea Quigley is one of them, and she gets naked and does that
Oh,
dance.
and they're grave robbers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is great. I love the comedy in that one.
Mm-hmm.
That's great stuff. I like and they were in the medical science department where they make science exhibits out of real animals and cadavers, and the animals were coming to life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, half animals. Yeah, that was quite something. And the girlfriend she got killed on the back of the motorcycle in that one, didn't she?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
That's a classic one. But like, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, my favorite movie?
Uh-huh.
I would say Lawrence of Arabia.
I like it.
That's the one movie I'll go back to and I'll watch it. It doesn't matter that it's long. I get really enwrapped with the whole transformation that he takes from the beginning of the film to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And after he had been through all of everything, and he had come out of the Turkish prison, and they were telling him about what they had planned on doing with their new military push, and he bangs his hands on the desk, and he says, "I don't want to be part of your big push." And that was like the best scene in the whole movie. And there was blood showing through the back of his shirt from where he had been tortured in the Turkish prison.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was very impactful. I loved that movie.
David Lean, he also did the Bridge on the River Kwai, which is another good one. That's
I saw that, but I don't remember any of it that I can recall. I can remember the music.
Yeah. Well, it was
famous music.
Yeah, it was parodied in that Tom Hanks movie Volunteers.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember. That was a good movie too. I like that one.
That's my favorite of all of Tom Hanks's early movies because it's so funny. It's got some great one-liners in it. I actually interviewed the villain from that movie a couple months ago, and he was great. He told some great stories about John Candy and Tom Hanks and Tim Thomerson and all these guys that were in it, and just how he enjoyed working with them and how great they were hanging out with them on off-duty hours and stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It was really good. My favorite movie of all time is Back to the Future.
The first one?
Of course, the first one.
Okay, of course. Yeah, that's a great movie. I love that. I like Michael J. Fox a lot. I watched him in his show. I watched, what was it, Family Ties?
Yes.
Not Family Ties.
Love Family Ties, yeah.
Was it Family Ties?
Yeah.
He also did a movie called The Frighteners that I loved.
Yes. Jeffrey Combs is in that one.
Right.
And Dee Wallace.
He was the evil doctor.
Yeah, him and Dee Wallace are in that movie.
Mm-hmm. That's a great movie. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. It took me a while to get to get into that movie, but I do like it. But when I was like a teenager, I just didn't get it. But I like it now.
Mm-hmm.
But
I liked all the characters. I thought the characters were really well developed.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love Back to the Future. It's a movie that's resonated with me since I was 3 years old. I'll tell you a great story. So we had this tape, this Kodak VHS tape with The Shining on it. And my parents showed me The Shining when I was a year old. It scared the shit out of me. And we used that tape to tape it over for Back to the Future because Back to the Future aired for the first time on HBO on April 1st, 1987. And we taped it, and then my brother accidentally taped it over. So then on April 24th, we used that tape to retape it. And I still have that tape to this day. And if you rewind it all the way to the beginning, just before the PG graphics come up, you could see Shelley Duvall talking to the doctor, and it's fucking spooky. Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you a spooky movie story.
Okay.
I go to, I think it's 19, what year was it, 91 maybe? I go to my father's hometown, Red Lodge, Montana, with my husband at the time. And I go to see Silence of the Lambs. It's in theaters at the time. We get through half of the movie, and the second half of the movie is spooled backwards. So it showed Hannibal Lecter killing somebody backwards. And I'm in this really old theater. It was just really creepy. Anyway, we ended up getting our money back for the movie. Everybody just was like had to leave because it was just a small theater and they had to fix the spool. It was spooled backwards. So anyway, yeah, it was just kind of creepy in this creepy theater and to watch those scenes backwards.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's like if you put on Dark Side of the Moon, the Pink Floyd album, and watch The Wizard of Oz, you get that same connection.
Right. Pink Floyd I listen to constantly, Tommy.
Really?
When I turn it down, that's what was playing. We were playing Wish You Were Here. That's kind of my music. It's real mellow. It can be very intense, but not so intense or loud that it screeches your nerves.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Pink Floyd, and then just the messages are always resonant with me.
Yeah, that album they came out with a couple of years ago, that was terrible. I did not like that album. Yeah.
Which one?
What was it called? The Endless River?
Endless River. I like the Endless River. It's not the same. It's not the same as the old Pink Floyd. Everybody changes and develops, so you got to be ready. And it's just a matter of accepting that it's not the same anymore. That it's going to evolve.
Yeah, I just thought it was too not like them, and it made me want to change their name to Stink Floyd.
Oh no! Not Stink Floyd.
Yeah.
You're breaking my heart.
Yeah, I saw Roger Waters do The Wall in its entirety at AT&T Park back in 2012, and oh my God, it was great. It was just fantastic. But then there were some people who were like talking shit after the show, saying, "Oh, that show was pre-recorded. He wasn't doing it live." Maybe so, but you know what? It was great. It really like satisfied the viewer. Speaking for myself.
Right. There's always haters.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta just tune it out.
Yeah. I love all the classic Pink Floyd stuff. They are great.
China and You Crazy Diamond.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. Have a Cigar.
Yep.
With Roy Harper singing lead. That song was so powerful and because Roy Harper sang lead on it, they never did it live.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I may be wrong about that, but for the most part, they never did it live. And but yeah, like Back to the Future is my favorite movie of all time. And I interviewed Claudia Wells, who played Jennifer in Back to the Future, and we did a pretty interesting interview. She was outside of the clothing store that she owns, and there was a lot of traffic going by, and so we had to like talk loudly during it. And she had to she signed autographs at the South San Francisco Comic Con this past fall. I wanted to go to it so badly, but I couldn't get there.
Nice. My daughter was a guest cosplayer at Comic Con here last year in Santa Rosa, and Lieutenant Uhura was there.
Oh yeah, Michelle Nichols.
And she was wonderful. was for me growing up. And she was just so gracious and beautiful, and more beautiful in person than I ever imagined.
Yeah, I almost went to that too, but I couldn't go. But my friend John Provost was signing there, and I hope to go next year though.
Oh, good. If you come to Santa Rosa, I want you to contact me and let me know.
I
So
will.
we can get together. We can do lunch or something.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah. You see what an absolute gentleman I am in person.
I'm sure.
Which brings me to my next thing about women's rights and stuff. Um, you've posted a lot of stuff on Facebook about it lately.
Right. There's been some issues. I post about what happens in my life. I'm real funny about my Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
My Facebook page is my page. It's my content. I will delete your stuff if it's hateful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I really feel like that's my publication to the world. You know, and that's how I have my dialogue with the world. And there have been a few things with regard to women's rights. It has to do with consent,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you determine whether or not you've gotten consent? You know, how to use your critical thinking to determine, is there an invitation for you to place your hand somewhere?
Right.
It seems real simple to me. I don't understand where the disconnect is.
Yeah. I'm a guy who. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I want to hear from your men's standpoint.
I'm a guy who has never touched a woman inappropriately because that's not how I was raised. You know, when I was 6 years old, I was a kid. I was the Benny Hill of my elementary school. I was the guy who chased girls. You know, I was a guy who would like grab a girl and like kiss her, but it wasn't like predatory. It was just being an innocent kid. You know, and my mother found out about this, and that's when she started teaching me like how to treat women and stuff. And I owe a lot of that to her. I really do.
Well, that's good. Yeah, guidance and channeling. That's what we need to do with our youth. They need guidance and channeling. You need to give them an example. You need to behave in a certain manner to show others how you expect them to behave.
Yeah.
Instead of complaining about something without being willing to change yourself.
Yeah. And my dad did that too. He was the same way. And my dad is probably the most like women's rights person I know in terms of a way a woman should be treated because um, he was very close to my grandma, very close to my aunt who passed away a couple of months ago. And he was so devastated about that. He still is, and that he told me what I had to do and stuff. He says, you meet girls who are tomboys, and I hang out with girls who are tomboys, and they're not easily offended. They take dirty jokes and dirty comments with a grain of salt, and that's great, but if they don't want to be touched a certain way, then don't do it. And that's what I've always lived by. I always ask permission for anything, and
Right.
I would
Well,
never.
that's where, some of us use our critical thinking in that way.
Mhm.
Some of us are not using the critical thinking. We're not caring about the other person's participation in the physical interaction we're eliciting.
Mhm.
There's a disconnect, and it's some people. It's not everybody. It's not all men. It's these certain men and certain women. And I observe the behavior, and I see them being very dismissive of somebody that complains that they've been handled inappropriately by someone. What happened with our local situation where we had a couple of people who were So
Right.
it wasn't like, it wasn't a witch hunt. Okay, somebody referred to it as that. Um, it was merely a group of women that decided to say, hey, there's enough of this behavior. You know, we've been subjected to it. Now we want to stop it. We want to put a stop to this.
Yes.
And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to say no more.
Mm-hmm.
So these certain people got ousted from the group, and none of them admitted to their behavior. So that disconnect is full. It's not something where you can reason with the person who's doing it because they're not willing to see they're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
They like it, they want to do it, and that's what they're perpetuating. They're not interested in knowing that they've done the wrong thing.
Yeah. Well, we have to remember too that any man who sexually assaults a woman, or you know, any kind of assault for that matter against a woman, is a cold bloodless sociopath predator. You know, and you can't change them. They're always going to be that way. They belong in jail. You know, and when I see all this Me Too stuff going on, these women who are fighting against it. They come off like they're angry mothers at like a PTA meeting at a school. Like
Right.
like
They're villainized.
yeah, like they're like these men, these predators are little boys, and they need to like be punished and think about what they did. Well, they're not going to change. What they need to do is lose their job, and
Right.
then
There need to be real consequences for real offenses.
exactly, and they need to hire some man who's kind, compassionate, and will not do that, and they just come off like they can change these guys. You can't change these guys. They belong in jail, and
What you can do is you can set up your own boundaries
right,
of what you're willing to accept and not accept.
right,
And then once you've decided to be proactive and take action, whatever it is, then you can make progress. But the progress has to be measured from your perspective because the other person isn't going to be affected. We can't affect anybody's perspective. They're
right.
going to have their perspective.
Right, exactly. And then there's people who are jumping on the bandwagon. And I actually have been a victim of this year. And I've talked a little bit about it on the podcast, so I don't mind talking about it again and stuff. There was a female comic I met 3 years ago, like right after I recovered from my accident, that I had some intimate contact with behind her husband's back. And I guess her husband saw our message and he found out about it, so she kind of separated herself from me. She's like, if I see you at the club, we can talk and stuff, but we're not gonna message each other on Facebook, and we're not gonna hang out and be buddies like we had originally planned. Blah blah blah. I was like, okay. And so then the Me Too thing happens, and I supported it in the beginning, the Me Too thing. But then once I started seeing all these ridiculous things that were happening, I stopped doing it. And then this happened. She came out and like did a Me Too on me to a lot of comedians, and
Okay.
it's slowly built, right? And the first comedian who found out, I guess, was this comedian who's hated my guts for the past 8 years I've known him, who's always telling people not to book me because he's just jealous of me and what have you. And that's how I found out. And then a month ago, three female comics that I've had on the podcast who I thought were my friends, they unfriended me because they had heard that shit, and I am so like hurt by that. I'm so upset.
Sure. That's damaging.
Yeah. So she gets caught, and then she says that I did it. I guess she said I did it inconsensually or whatever, you know. And that's just, oh my God, it's really wrong.
You know what? You know if it's you or not. You
Yeah.
know.
I know I did. I know that, but it's just, you think that, certain people are your friends, and then next thing you know, this shit happens, and coincidentally, or not so coincidentally, it happens right when they see me doing well and doing, great things with this podcast. They have to fucking find a way to tear me down.
Yeah. Well, there's always going to be haters, Tommy. You have to disregard that.
I
You have to
know,
let it go. That's the only therapy for that.
I know, but
Because they exist, and they're going to be who they are. They're going to think how they think, and they're going to act how they act, regardless of what you do or think. So that's why I prescribe to a proactive way of living as opposed to reactive. It's a very simple way to be, and it's a way of being, and that is that I think every day about the day and how I'm going to be, how I'm going to behave, and I will put into action certain strategies for certain issues.
mm-hmm.
But I'm sure to do it. I don't let it slide. I don't let things slide. I'm in a state of doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't have to react to anything around me because I can refer to the things that I'm doing to make my life better. I have that to refer to. So I don't have to be busy in my mind with all of this negativity that's happening around me.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes your mind busy. It takes up your time.
Yes, that is beautiful, Cindy. You're so right. You're so right. And one thing I'm very proud of, though, the first 3 months, the first like 3 months of the Me Too movement, there were a lot of female guests I had on the show who I didn't even ask questions. I didn't even ask any questions about sexual harassment, and they told me they took the initiative to tell their stories to me, and I felt very good about that. That they felt comfortable telling me about stuff that I was really shocked about too, with certain people in the industry.
Right.
Certain male movie stars and stuff, and it was really shocking. And then once it became clear to a lot of people what's really going on with the Me Too movement, I asked a couple of people, and they're like, it's not even worth talking about because I don't like the fact that they're bringing up shit that happened, 20 or 30 years ago and stuff. And then that's when I just stopped with all that stuff about asking about it,
Sure.
you know. But the key word here, though, and this goes for just about anything in life: subjectivity. Everything is subjective. You know.
Right. And we all have our own perception. I posted on that today. If you think your perception is the only one, you're really wrong. Everybody has a different story. There are different versions of you in every single person's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Your version of you and my version of you are not the same person.
Yeah.
I have a limited version of you. You have a different version. You have all the facts. And then there's other people you share only part of the facts with. So that person's going to have a different view of you than I have. So everybody has a different version of you. Everybody's perception is different.
Exactly. It's a weird time now. A really weird time.
For sure, yeah.
Do you see any sign of it getting better?
I'm hoping. I'm hopeful. I see. I see the hands of justice working hard and fervently to right the things that have been wronged. And I have faith that the right thing will prevail. I also know that I'm not the keeper of all the truth. least off of me.
Yeah, I'm so sick of that, you know. Just you can't talk about anything to anybody anymore. Just, you know, they're gonna go.
Right,
They're gonna,
right. It's become so divided.
yeah, they're gonna go ape shit because your opinion doesn't agree with their opinion. You know,
Right.
it's crazy. You know, it's funny. I've had some women tell me that if I actually gave my opinions more to just women in general, they would actually find me more attractive.
If you did what?
If I like voiced my opinions more.
Oh, well, here's what women find attractive, Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know?
Yes.
It's the key thing. It's the thing.
Okay.
Confidence.
Confidence.
Confidence and integrity. Integrity will give you confidence. And I'll tell you how.
How?
If you have integrity, okay, if you ask yourself the hard questions about who you are as a person, you can know that you've done your due diligence. And then you can move forward in confidence.
Oh.
And that will attract people to you.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm off to a good start because I've had a lot of great people come to me, not over here in Reading, but just in general, a lot of great people like yourself.
Well, that's nice. Thank you, Tommy.
Yeah, I think I'm off to a good start with that. You know, if we could have a little bit of girl talk for a moment. I remember the first time that we talked on Facebook, you were telling me about your boyfriend's belly button.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Really?
I did. I know you have a fascination with belly buttons.
I sure do. Yeah, you told me he has a pretty Audi.
It's actually it's kind of a flatty. It's not. It doesn't really stick out.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't stick in either. It's just right there, you know. And he doesn't have fat, so it's a good belly button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine is super cute. It was a lot cuter before the accident. Now I got a scar around it and stuff. And I used to think that was like my best feature. In fact, when I used to have an account on one of the dating sites, I used to have that on there as my best feature.
Nice.
Because I'm my own worst critic when it comes to certain things, especially when it comes to my looks and everything, my eyes and my nose and everything. But I did have to think I had a cute belly button.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about being confident and about attracting women or anybody, just people to yourself, attracting friends, because I think that's what it's really about, attracting friends.
Mm-hmm.
And just putting yourself together, acting like you're going to a party every day. Every day is a special occasion.
Right.
I always put on my hose and put on a skirt. I rarely wear slacks. Try to do my makeup every day and just be prepared for the day. There's no reason not to pay attention to the details of your person. And once you've done that and you've nurtured yourself in that way and you've done it repeatedly, your looks will change to yourself. Your looks, if you feel uncomfortable with them, they will become more comfortable because you're loving yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the last 10 years or so, I have done that. Like, I've dressed up like, you know, I'm going to a party, like, every day. I always do my hair nice. If my hair is super long, I gel it, I style it, you know. I always put on aftershave, and I put on deodorant, and I put on cologne if I have it. And I just make myself attractive everywhere I go. I personally don't think that, you know, I look attractive though, but certain people like gravitate toward me when I do it.
Right.
You know?
So what you want to do is address your thinking,
Mm-hmm.
because if you have the thought, you've put that thought in your head, I'm not attractive, that becomes your truth, and it doesn't need to be your truth. What your truth should be is that you love yourself and you're beautiful.
Oh, yes.
So address your thinking. Your thinking is who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially...
So just make that a wonderful, beautiful place, your mind.
Yeah, especially since I'm trying to move to LA. They say you gotta dress up all the time when you're in LA. You gotta look like you're important all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I plan on doing that. Absolutely. When I get down there. There's a...
Let me ask you. No, go ahead.
Oh no, you better ask me because this next thing is gonna be something special. So go ahead, ask me.
Okay. Well, let me ask you. You know Ron Thompson?
Ron Thompson. That sounds familiar.
He was in Beretta as Detective Nocky for a year.
Huh.
He was in American Pop, which was a movie. He was the principal player in that one. He was in a few things, but right now he's got a movie released called Cargo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's out, and you should see it because it was actually, they premiered it and they had it in theaters down in LA, and it's kind of a breakout film for him. It's pretty exciting.
Cargo.
So I should tag you on a post that I have. I'm going to do a watch party for his movie, and it's going to be great. And then we're going to do just a face chat with him after the movie with my friends.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. But hit Ron Thompson up and watch his movie. Maybe he'll be on your show.
Ah, I could do that. Yeah. I could definitely do that. So, there's a game I like to play where I ask 4 questions, and after you answer them, you ask me the question back. It's just...
Say that again. How do I do this?
I ask you a question, you answer it, and then you ask me the same question back.
Oh, that sounds like a game where you're totally in control. But I'm game.
It's just silly questions.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Cindy, are you ticklish?
Oh, hell yes. Yes, Lalo tries to, he tickles me a lot, and he gets frustrated because he'll, like, try to kiss my knee or my hip, trying to be sexy, and I'm, like, laughing, and he gets frustrated because I'm laughing. Well, I'm ticklish, dude. Yeah, I'm ticklish. Tommy, are you ticklish?
Oh, I am baby ticklish. Yeah, I mean, I have a knee-jerk reaction, like if someone tickles me. I mean, I can't help myself. Let's see. Is your belly button an innie or an outie?
Oh, my belly button is an innie. What is your belly button, an innie or an outie, Tommy?
It's middle between innie and outie.
Oh, like my boyfriend.
Yes.
Okay.
And I jokingly say that if I had an outie, I would be able to butt fuck somebody with it.
Oh
no. What color are your toenails painted?
My toenails are not painted. It's winter time. Oh my goodness. Pedicure? I haven't had a pedicure. I need a pedicure, Tommy. I need a pedicure.
No, if I lived close to you, if I lived close to you, I would give you one.
Thank you. What color are your toenails painted, Tommy?
They are not painted right now, but I've been painting them since I was 13.
Nice. It's nice to paint your nails. I have funny fingernails. They're like little shovels. I used to bite them. I used to bite them horribly until I was in my 40s. So maybe 10, 15 years ago, I stopped biting my nails. And they grow,
Is there any stinky smell that you can't tolerate?
A stinky smell that I can't tolerate. Yes, there are several.
Okay, you want to name them?
Let me think of one that I really. Oh, rotting potatoes.
Oh, I got that one from a friend not too long ago. She said the same thing.
Yeah, rotting potatoes. What about you, Tommy? Is there a smell that you find completely objectionable?
There's many, but the grossest one was my feet when I got out of the hospital.
Oh,
I
yeah?
yeah,
Keep your feet to yourself.
I had pretty bad athlete's foot because they didn't change my socks during that last month I was there.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, and eventually it went away. Started soaking them. I put lotion on them, and eventually it went away. But it was so bad, like I would put my shoe and my sock on for 5 minutes, and the smell would be bad when I took them off. So yeah,
Well, you gotta take care of those feet.
yes, absolutely. And I was an athlete in high school, and I never got that, which is the funny part. I always took care of them. Um, let's see. I got some pretty funny jokes.
Okay.
Okay, here's two. Here's okay. The first two I told Suze these, and she was giggling like a schoolgirl. Um, let me try to think how this one goes. Oh, why do men like to marry virgins?
I don't know.
Because they can't stand criticism. Um, what happens to your asshole when you have an orgasm?
I don't know.
He's out drinking with the boys.
That's a good one.
Now, in all the podcasts you've listened to, have you ever heard me tell the Cinderella one?
No.
Okay. So, Cinderella is about to go to the ball, and she's on her period. And the fairy godmother gives her these magic tampons and says, "You better be back by midnight or else they'll turn into a pumpkin." And she's like, "Okay, fairy godmother, I will." 12:30 rolls around. Cinderella has not shown up. Fairy godmother's pacing around the house angry. And then 4 a.m. rolls around. Cinderella shows up, stumbling drunk. And the fairy godmother's like, "Where have you been? You were supposed to be home by midnight." And Cinderella's like, "I'm so sorry, fairy godmother. I've met this great guy, and we danced all night. His name was Peter Peter."
Gross.
Oh, you would love that. You would really love that joke if you saw me tell it because I had this deadpan look on my face, and then I do this smirk like right after the punchline that has everyone in stitches. I learned early on how to tell jokes, so it's like something ingrained in me.
Mhm. My son was a writer of satire in his school years. He created this one comic that the teacher pointed out to me, and it was really very brilliant. He was about 8 years old at the time, and the picture was the teacher standing in the front of the classroom holding up a book. And it says on the book, the title is The Longest Book in the World, and the teacher is saying blah, 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 while the students' ears are bleeding. So that was my son, and his sense of humor has always been like that he would always point out what was humorous about a situation and satirize it.
Mm-hmm. What are your plans for Christmas?
Well, I'm going to have, on Christmas Eve, we do our gift exchange at my house. So I'll have my family over, my daughter, my granddaughters, my 3 granddaughters, and my son, and my friend.
Mm-hmm.
she usually celebrates Hanukkah, but she's coming to do my gift exchange with me and my family, which is really nice.
Uh-huh.
And then, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm listening.
Oh, okay. So we'll do dinner on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day I have a white elephant birthday Christmas party that I'm going to. I have a huge group of friends here in Santa Rosa. We do parties all the time. I just had my birthday party, and I have a 1,300 square foot condo. I had 50 people in my condo.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Just last Saturday night, we did a gangster party. It was a lot of fun. So we get together. We do parties every month or so. So we've always got a good party.
Wow. Now, it sounds like you have something that's very rare today when it comes to neighbors, because when I was growing up, we knew all our neighbors on our street. My parents had grown up with them, and now it seems like, after 9/11 and the way that the world is now, it's just like neighbors like don't want to know each other.
Yeah, well, we've been here in our condo since '06.
Mm-hmm.
And most of our neighbors are the same neighbors. The condos are built in circles, so they're like houses. They're like big houses with double car garages and driveways and their own backyards. And all of us neighbors have known each other for the past 12 years, and they're wonderful neighbors. I love my neighborhood.
Yeah, my mom and I, we lived in the same apartment for 9 years before we were homeless for a little while and then got this apartment. And during those 9 years we were there, we never had the same neighbors more than 2 years, except for the neighbor um, that lived next door to us. He actually came about maybe 3 years in, or about 3 or 4 years in. Yeah, around that time, and he was with us until until we left. But everybody else, there was never the same neighbors there. And oh my God, the neighbor upstairs, when the first 3 years that we were there, she was a career businesswoman during the day, and at nighttime she was secretly a prostitute.
Well, that'll keep your bank account flush.
Yeah. Oh my God. And how I found out about it, it was about she moved in like maybe 2 weeks after we did, and I started noticing like every weekend she would have like a different guy leaving the apartment with her like several times a day, and it was just insane. And then one day, right, I wanted to like infiltrate, right? I wanted to find out. I asked her if she wanted to have coffee, and she said okay. And she thought that we were going to go to Starbucks that was down the street from us, right? I was like, no, can we go up there and do it? And she's like, sure. And she's like, okay, sure. So I go up there, right? And I'm 21 at this time, and I am scared. I'm nervous, and I had never really been with a girl yet. I was just really, inexperienced. And we're sitting on the couch, sitting like, close to each other. And I think she got kind of annoyed after a while that like I wasn't making a move on her or anything. I just wanted to find out like if everything that I found out is true, right? And of course it was, but we didn't talk about it, and so I ended up just leaving there. Nothing happened or nothing. And I came back to her place a couple of times over the next 2 years or whatever, and nothing ever happened. And then we left that apartment for a while. And then when we came back, she'd already been gone. And I've looked for her on Facebook. She's not on Facebook. And yeah, so it was really weird. So basically, I was just, so her and I kind of became friends, but like, we never did anything.
Well, maybe it was better.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, she was a pretty Asian girl. She was about 12 years older than me, and she tried to come off like she was the innocent girl next door, but she wasn't. You know, yeah, I had some pretty
That's okay. Everybody's got their deal.
yeah, I had some pretty interesting neighbors though. But that's great though. You have a community to celebrate Christmas with. Um, yeah, my mom's going to be in the Bay Area working this year, so I'm going to be by myself up here in Reading, and I'm writing a script. I'm writing a raunchy adult version of Babes in Toyland. It's like a modern day setting, and it's basically a retelling. It's not really a remake. It's just a retelling of it, and it's going to be a homage to like Fred Olen Ray and David Dakota movies of the late '80s, like Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers and Beverly Hills Vamp and Sorority Babes. All these
I remember those movies. I never watched one of them.
Yeah,
I know the ones you're talking about, though.
yeah, the TNA comedies. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a homage to those, and I just like laugh out loud coming up with like dialogue and stuff. And so I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna like make my own ham and gravy and mashed potatoes here, and just I'll talk to my mom on the phone, of course, but we're not gonna be physically together. But I won't be alone.
Good, good. You got to make your own company. You got to make your own life good. You got to make your own happiness.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And my mom's been working a lot, since we moved up here and stuff. And so this podcast has really like prevented me from being lonely and stuff.
Good.
You
That's
know,
awesome.
yeah.
That's that proactive stuff that I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can refer to that when you're having a hard time. You can refer to what's good in your life.
Yeah. Proactive. What do you guys usually eat at Christmas?
What do we usually eat?
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be. I don't eat meat.
Mm-hmm.
So, but my Lalo does, and the family does. So he'll cook a turkey or a ham, probably a ham this year. And we did a turkey for Thanksgiving, and then we'll just do fixings for ham, a lot of different things. Usually we'll do stuffing and stuffing and cranberry, maybe fruit salad, Waldorf salad type of thing.
Uh.
Yeah, I haven't worked out a menu yet, but maybe I'll do that today.
Yeah, when I was homeless in the Bay Area for a couple of years before I moved up here. There was a couple of years where I had to go to like a Narcotics Anonymous meeting to get a holiday meal because I had no money. And
Well, that happens.
yeah,
Makes you stronger. Now you're not there anymore. You get to refer back to that, and when you're deciding that you're a grateful person.
yeah, and there was the church I went to that I went to every year for Christmas, Thanksgiving. They gave you everything for dinner. They had not just ham, but they also had turkey, and they had uh, I think they had like chicken, baked chicken and stuff, and mashed potatoes, stuffing, gravy, all that stuff. I mean, it was great, and I would go every year and get that, and it was great, and I was very grateful to that. The only thing is sometimes they would have it. Sometimes they would have it like the day before Thanksgiving. So I had to eat. So I had to eat there the day before Thanksgiving, and then there's this wine bar in San Carlos where they give like free meals to just about anybody walking by, pretty much. And
Nice.
I got to go there, and they don't give you a whole lot of portions, but it was good,
Good.
you know. And I almost went to the Salvation Army one year, but I ended up at a dive bar and seeing some friends of mine instead, so I didn't have to go all the way over there. But yeah, it was pretty tough years, and I'm so grateful that I got this roof over my head, and my mom is in the Bay at my brother's place, and they got a roof over their head, you know. And there's
Yeah, it's tough these days.
yeah, and we can communicate over the phone and stuff.
Mhm.
You know, it's just I'm so fortunate about that. And yeah, New Year's Eve. I don't know what I'm going to do New Year's Eve.
Yeah, it's up in the air for me as well. I have a New Year's Day thing that I'm doing with some friends. But New Year's Eve, often we stay in. Often I'm asleep at midnight.
Yeah,
Really doesn't appeal to me going out with everybody drinking and driving.
yeah, that sounds like my mom. She's always been a person who slept on New Year's Eve, and I used to spend New Year's Eve with my dad every year. From the time I was like in my late teens to my mid 20s, that was like our ritual. And the last time we did that was the '06 to '07. We stayed home. My stepmom was there, and we watched Monty Python's Flying Circus.
I love Monty Python.
Yeah, yeah. And so that was a great Christmas. And then starting next year, um, I just I went out with friends or I worked at the bar as a bouncer on New Year's, and it was usually dead and all that. And so yeah, we haven't like spent a New Year's Eve together in a while, and I wish we could. He lives all the way in Washington. I'm gonna visit him hopefully in a few months.
Nice.
Yeah, he lives in Marysville.
Marysville, that sounds familiar. I lived in Central Washington as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you mentioned you were in Oregon.
Yeah, well, we lived all over the West Coast, me and my family.
Yeah, Marysville is a retirement area, um, and across the way there's Orcas Island, which is where she did live for a lot of years before she got into senior living. My grandmother, that is,
Okay.
and yeah, so he's up in Marysville. It's nice over there. It's always like raining and foggy, and it's kind of boring. The only thing exciting to do is go to a casino over there.
Yeah, there's a lot of casinos on the coast.
Oh, we got a lot of casinos over here in Reading. We haven't had time to go to one, but there's a lot of them over here, and I just want to go for the all you can eat buffet.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't.
Yeah, they have some nice buffets, those casinos.
Yeah, I don't care about the gambling. I just want the buffet.
Yeah, I kind of have a thing about casinos. I really don't go to them because they take your money for no goods, for no services. You basically go to give them your money. It's not a smart thing for the consumer.
Yeah.
So yeah, gambling, I don't do it. I've done it a couple times. I've gone to a couple casinos, in my past. I remember going with my friend Marge, who I loved. God rest her soul.
Oh.
She and I went to Silver Legacy in Reno and
Hmm.
hung out for 3 days. I gambled $600 away. For no goods and no services. I got nothing.
Oh.
I won a whole bunch of times, but then spent it all back. It was just, to me, it was an exercise in nonsense.
My ex best friend who I was in the accident with, he's a pathological gambler. That guy has to do it all the time. And we used to go to a lot of the casinos that are in the Bay Area because he worked at Artichoke Joe's in San Bruno. And we used to go to Bay 101 in San Jose. We'd go to Lucky Chances in Daly City. He was just, he would get so drunk like all night long when we would be out partying. He's like, I gotta go gamble now. It's just it's just a pathological need to do it. And there would be nights where he would lose, nights where he would win, and once he won, he got really cocky and he wanted to win some more, and then he would lose it all.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah. It's really, really sad. It's really, really sad. So what are you going to do today?
Today?
Yeah.
Well, when we're done talking, I will pack up my two dogs. I don't know if you can hear them. They're outside barking at me. I'm going to pack up my two dogs and go across town to my friend's house, and I'll visit with her. And then I'll pack them back up, come home, and do some housework.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing, really. That's the interesting day I have.
Oh my God! Did you hear my interview I did the other day with Miss Shields from A Christmas Story? Hello?
Sorry?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Did you hear
Am I
my?
losing you?
I said, did you hear my interview I did the other day with Miss Shields from A Christmas Story?
Oh, no, I did not.
Oh my God! I had a crush on her when I was a kid, and I told her about this fantasy I used to have about her, right? About Miss Shields giving me a blowjob, right? And she admitted on here that when she was young, she was great at giving blowjobs.
Oh, my goodness.
And I could not believe it. I couldn't believe I was hearing that. I thought it was the most awesome thing ever. Yeah. Oh my God. That's just further proof that I'm so lucky. you know. Yeah. There's episodes of this podcast where I just get triple X rated.
That's okay. I'm not a triple X rated person. So I will disregard what I don't consume.
Disregard what you don't consume.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been pretty good today, haven't I?
I think fairly good.
Hmm. Yeah. I. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those subjective things that has its time and its place.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah.
I think I'm losing you.
It's one of those things that has its time and its place. It's subjective.
Right, right. Well, I'm just older now, and I've got more of a filter than I used to have.
Hmm.
I don't think you should have a filter because I want you to have one. You should, if you have a filter, it should be because that's what you want for yourself.
Hmm.
So, I'm not judging you. I don't participate in the triple X-rated talk.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, as long as the person is a good audience, that's all I care about. I mean, they don't have to like engage in it or talk about their stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know. And I think that's a really good thing. Well, Cindy, I got another interview coming up pretty soon, and so
Okay.
I'm gonna have to end this. And I want you to know I just appreciate you taking the time this morning to come on the podcast.
It was really nice, Tommy. Thank you for having me. Um, I'm not that interesting a person, but here I am. I like to be available to my friends.
Yeah, but you did great, and you had some great points there that I really enjoyed, and I would love to have you back on after the holidays.
Okay.
We'll do another one, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
I will. Thank you so much, Tommy.
Okay, love you.
Okay. Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Well, there you have it, Cindy Jenkins. Ain't she a sweetheart? Thank you so much, Cindy. You're such a sweet lady. And don't worry about not coming off as interesting because to me, you are interesting. And I'm glad that we got to talk and stuff. And I'll have a lot more to say next time we do it. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac. Tommy Throwback Kovac. I'm sorry. I'm fucking multitasking here. This is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.